Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about how the recession affects probate. Just like everything else, like wages, gas, even your grocery bill, the recession is affecting how probate works. And we'll share a few ways that we've been seeing how it impacts probates recently. Okay. All right. So first, major delays in collecting assets. We've seen entities from banks and brokerage accounts to unclaimed funds just taking way longer than usual. They're asking for more documents. They're getting stricter in their requirements, meaning when they maybe would have let certain things slide, they'll send stuff back to you and they want everything signed a certain way, or every what do they say? Every T crossed and every I dotted, and you might be thinking, oh, that's what they're supposed to do. They're just being rigorous in their requirements. I mean, that's definitely one interpretation. Another more jaded interpretation might be that the marching orders from high on down are, let's keep this money in our accounts as long as possible, and really, we will legally release when it's appropriate, but not a nanosecond sooner. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely seeing entities and institutions holding on to funds, a little tighter and a little longer than usual, and this results in delays for you as an heir or an executor. So the key takeaway is start now. Know that things are taking much longer than usual, so just start now. Okay. Okay. Another way the recession seems to be affecting probate recently, and this one is a bit odd, but yeah. Uh, Lately, creditors are not settling at all. Okay, what do I mean that? What do I mean by that? So, historically, we've been doing this a long time. Historically, when you have an estate debt, whether it's a credit card bill or a medical bill, creditors have been pretty laid back about it, and you could really, if you were so inclined, I know some people feel very honor bound to settle their debts in their entirety, but other folks are more willing to negotiate those down. But in the past, it would be almost trivial to get a creditor to reduce their bill by 20, 30, even 50%. It would just take a phone call, like, hey, your bill is $5,000, but if you want to just get your money now, the estate will pay you 3,000. Sure, done. Send a check here. Now that is not happening. We're seeing some real, no, we want full payment. We will wait, or we will even sue. So it's getting pretty ruthless. So the notion of debts getting discharged or reduced, it's not really happening. And yeah, the takeaway, I guess, from that is don't count on that as a reduction in your, or an increase, I guess, inversely to the amount the heirs will get, and just assume the debts will be paid in full for now. And this is odd because we've been through the great, what is it called, the Great Recession, the mortgage crisis. We've been through a lot of downturns, and even during those times, creditors would settle because they would want cash in hand now, and accept a haircut just to get an immediate payment. But nope, they are super aggressive now. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not sure why it's different now than it was. When was the Great Recession? Like 10 years ago? No, it was like 12 years ago. I don't know what the difference is, but it's different. All right. So the last way the recession seems to be affecting probate, and this is quite predictable, I guess, is heirs need and want their cash ASAP, as soon as possible. If you've watched any of the videos or listened to any podcast here, you'll know that that's just not possible. I mean, estates take a long time to settle, and getting cash to the heirs into the hands of the heirs is going to be a time-consuming process. But there is an urgency, and there are some solutions that you can try to make that happen sooner than later. They're not all great. So one way is to make sure that you pay reimbursements immediately. So what do I mean by that? So there are some times where the heirs have fronted money to make this process happen, like paying the attorney, or the attorney's retainer, or the court filing fees, or if the estate was cash poor, maybe the heirs paid for the clean out, or the co-op move out application, things like that. Normally, or because if it was not urgent, those amounts would just get reimbursed at the end of the whole process. Because why have multiple rounds of checks getting mailed? And heirs would often prefer that. No, I just want to get everything back at once. Now heirs want that $2,000 to clean out the apartment. They need that back now. For Christmas shopping or what have you. So yes, reimbursements are for estate administration expenses are a top priority. There's very little dispute that those can get reimbursed. So yes, if you're an heir in an estate, then you need some of that money back. Just ask for it. The executor should have no problem repaying that. And executors, if your heirs are getting disgruntled, that's one way to at least get some cash. I know it's their money, it's money they already spent, but it is still cash back in hand. So reimbursements is a good way. We're also seeing heirs and executors making more concessions during the accounting phase just to get it done faster. Whereas in the past, parties might fight or dispute, hey, I'm not so happy that you spent $5,000 on the clean out. Maybe it should have been $4,000. Let's talk about this and make sure that this was done correctly. That kind of stuff might pop up during accounting. Now both sides, all sides, are being way more, cooperative, or they just want to get it done. There's a lot less nitpicking we're seeing, a lot more concessions. Another option is an intermediate accounting. We don't love this, and most heirs don't either, but it is an option. So what that means is instead of waiting for the end of the process and the full accounting to distribute inheritance shares, if you're still waiting, you're stuck waiting for most likely income tax clearance or something else. You can ask the estate executor to do a partial accounting, like a half payoff, or more likely a 1/3 payout of your inheritance share. And you're probably wondering, oh, that's awesome. I'll take a third now. What's the holdup? The problem is that you have to do the same level of work and accounting as you would if you close the estate in full. So it does take time and money. So basically, you're paying the executor or the accountants, whoever's doing it, to do an accounting twice. So there is cost involved. And I think historically, heirs have said, nah, I'll just wait till the end. But we may see a trend. We'll keep you updated. We may start seeing a trend where heirs will be like, look, okay, fine, we'll pay for the accounting twice, but we need cash now. I haven't seen that yet, but we'll see. That might be coming down the pipe soon. And then lastly, I hesitate to even mention this because I think it's such a bad idea, but it is the reality. There are inheritance funding companies out there that will give you cash now in exchange for a legal right to your share of the estate. The reason I don't encourage these and why I hate to even bring it up is because they are beyond usurious in their terms. They will, if your inheritance share is $50,000, they will give you less than $20,000, and they'll keep the 50 when the accounting is done. So it's really, really, really bad terms. So, if you can avoid that, gosh, you really should avoid that and focus on reimbursements, making concessions, and maybe even an intermediate accounting rather than resorting to an inheritance funding. Just our 2 cents. All right. So that's it. Those are what we're seeing in terms of how the recession is affecting probates. Want to learn more about probate? Check out my book on Amazon, How Probate Works. I think we have a free chapter for you if you fill out the form below. And, of course, as always, send us any comments or questions by email. We'll do our best to either answer directly or spin it into one of these episodes and cover it so everyone can benefit. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening as usual. We will talk soon next time. Take care.